Remember, in the first protest, it was tea in these boxes. But we figured since really the issue is all about taxes and not so much about tea today, we've got these boxes and we're throwing them off as a symbol of that first protest.
Here we go. What we got here first? We got income tax. Let's do it. Yeah, sales tax, car tax, and just taxes in general. There's some more car tax. Yeah, there you go. There's some more sales tax. That's going up too. It's all going up. Put a little word out there to all you folks. I know Buck mentioned that this is being put on primarily by the Yuba County Republican Party. I know that there's a lot of Democrats out there, independents, libertarians. There might even be a communist or two out there. I don't know. But we thank every one of you for being here, no matter what your affiliation is. This whole thing is not about the party. It's about us. We are tired, and we need to do something about it.
Thank you very much. Is this exciting or what? They haven't beaten us. We're just beginning to fight. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. It is so incredible to feel the enthusiasm of individuals like yourself, and I feel it all over the 10 counties where I go. We have literally had enough. Our government, and I'm going to speak about Washington, and I'm afraid it's not too much different in Sacramento. We are spending too much, we are taxing too much, and we're borrowing too much. And it doesn't have to be that way. And let me give an example. This administration is borrowing and spending more, and we are going further in debt than all 43 administrations, presidency from George Washington to George W. Bush combined. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's literally unbelievable. And this idea that somehow you can be economically hurting as we are now, as our nation is right now. And by the way, we go through recessions periodically. This is the eighth recession we've been in since World War II, so this is not something new. This is the worst. Now, you always hear the administration say this is the worst since the Depression. That's not correct. This is the worst since Jimmy Carter. Any of us remember back to the 70s? 21.5% prime interest rate. We had inflation back then, and at the rate they're borrowing, we could go into inflation again. We had unemployment back during the 70s that was double digit. So this is the worst economy we've had, and it's not as bad as it was then yet since the 70s. And the way we got out of it was not by spending and borrowing our way out of it. The way that Ronald Reagan brought about the longest period of economic prosperity in our nation's history was that he didn't raise taxes, he cut them. He reduced them. It was the largest tax reduction in history. And guess what happened during that decade of the 80s? Number one, our economy took off, and we reduced tax rates dramatically, and unlike what those in Washington today believe, revenues did not go down. Not only did they not go down, revenues doubled. Taxes were decreased and revenues doubled, and how did that happen? More people had more money paying taxes at a lower rate, and they were out, and we grew jobs, we grew the economy, and that's what we need to be doing today. And we do have alternative plans. I supported a budget back in Washington that would spend half as much money and create twice as many jobs, and it was voted down. So, again, I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is fantastic, and it's long overdue. Ladies and gentlemen, We need an economic revolution in the state of California and in this country. They've been taking your money, and the government is squandering our money. Right now we're $12 trillion in debt because they believe the government can spend your money better than you can. So I just want to say today that this is fantastic that you showed up, that you are putting the politicians in Sacramento and the politicians in Washington on notice. I've been waiting a long time for this to happen. You need to, and you are today, drawing a line in the sand. Government does not have the answer. California has a deficit. It's had a deficit for the last 3 or 4 years. Let me give you an example of how to get out of that deficit. You grow your way out of it. How many people are here, have ancestries from Ireland? Raise your hand. Any Irishmen here today? I want you to know, back in 1990, Ireland was the poorest country in Europe. And what they did is they, instead of becoming a bigger government nation, what they did is they cut the corporate tax from 50% to 12%, and they cut unemployment down to almost zero, and their gross national product increased at 6% a year, which is the #1 in the entire European continent. What they did is they grew their way out of this. And I want you to know that if you think you're alone in what you're doing here today, you're wrong, because 225 years ago, our forefathers did the same thing. And they are cheering you on today because it's about freedom and it's about liberty. That's what we're here for. It's not about government trying to be a nanny state telling us how to live, how to breathe, where to live, what to do, and what to say. Did you know that California 2 weeks ago was trying to pass an ordinance that would keep you from even painting your car black? That's how much control that this state is trying to get over your life. Ladies and gentlemen, enough is enough. This is your country. This is not the politician's country. This is your nation, your state, and you need to take it back. Do not let special interest groups destroy the greatest country on the face of this earth the world has ever known. Don't let them take it from you. The key to our greatness in this country is the individual. That's what made America free. That's what made America great. And our forefathers got it. Abraham Lincoln said, "We are the last best hope of mankind." He said that for a reason. It wasn't because of government. It was because of you. You were the reason why it was so great. When you go throughout the world and you look at other governments, how they rule the public, rule the people, you'll understand that Abraham Lincoln understood the greatness of our nation was that the people ruled this country, not the politicians. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take it back. We will stand with you. I'm proud to have Congressman Herger here today standing with you and pushing back in Washington. And I want you to know in Sacramento, we have laid down the gauntlet. We will stand with you until the end. We will not surrender. We're going to conquer ground. We're going to move them back. And we're going to take back our freedom. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have a car that's painted black, we're not going to fine you for it. We're going to make sure that we do not dominate every part of your life. We've had enough of that. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to turn it around. I can't tell you how proud I am. I've waited a long time to see this happen. And ladies, enough is enough. So I'm here to thank you for showing up. I think the Republican Central Committee and the Tea Party is phenomenal. And I hope next year at this time, we will be right back here at the same spot. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Now I've been gone for way too long, and that woman, she don't want me at all. Lord knows I've tried to say goodbye so many times before. Now I'm on the move at my own speed, find a pretty little lady, she got what I need, gonna take me places I ain't never again.